Hello and welcome back to the On the Gas podcast for episode 10. We're joined again by Cameron this time, and Lauren obviously, but Cameron's back.
Hi.
We talked about David Alonso's fantastic championship win and his sensational season he's had so far, and how we think he'll fare in Moto2 as well. Lauren gets some tracks mixed up. Because
there was a bit of a duck chat in there, so
yeah,
stick around for that.
Yeah,
a few shots in the arm.
Yeah, people getting shot in the arm.
Doing lines behind hospitality. It's great.
Yeah. So the racing was very exciting this weekend, and that will be reflected in this podcast. So sit back and enjoy.
Enjoy.
Yeah. Why do people listen to this? Anyway. Hope you enjoy.
Roll it.
Roll the tapes. Hello everybody and welcome to episode 10 of the On the Gas pod. I hope you are well. I am back as always with Lauren and Cameron.
Hola! I'm back from Spain. Hi.
He's back.
And fluent in Spanish, I'm assuming now?
Yeah.
Well, no, yo no hablo español. Lo siento.
Es un triste día. Es un día triste.
That's it. That's it. That's as far
as it goes. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway.
I hope you had a nice time anyway.
I did.
I hope you're caught up on MotoGP.
Yes. I mean, it was kind of handy because, with the flyways, they're on like first thing in the morning, like really early. So I kind of got up before everybody else was awake and just sort of sat on my phone and watched them.
And everyone's like, wow, you're up early. Wow, you're so productive. This whole day and you're like, I was watching MotoGP.
Yeah. So, managed to watch most of the racing. I missed a bit of Motegi because I was traveling back. But anyway, it doesn't seem like I missed too much, to be honest.
Even Marquez said it was a boring race.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah.
So,
oh dear.
Yes, but we are back. We have a brand new world champion in David Alonso. Which,
very impressive.
Yes, is amazing. And 14 Moto3 wins, 10 wins this year in 16 races. Absolutely demolished the field, won the championship 5 races to go. And I don't think it could have happened to a nicer guy because he's just an absolute lovely kid from what you see on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. He just seems like such a sweet kid and fast as hell. Great. Another good personality that will be nice to have in the MotoGP paddock in a few years.
Yeah, I think that's the main takeaway from this weekend, to be honest. Like, we knew he had a good personality. He's really showed it this year. He's had great celebrations with even the unicycle a couple weeks ago. And then, he had a coconut, I think, last week in Indonesia. He was just sitting in Park Ferme with a coconut. I think that they filled with Red Bull as well, which is even funnier.
Of course, yeah.
We've really seen his personality shine this year, I think, since he's been up at the front and winning and on the podium and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, we did sort of know that he was going to win the championship. It was a question of when, not if. Annoying that no one else could really put up a title charge, but I think, he's moving up to Moto2 next year. I hope he does a couple of years there and they don't try and fast track him up into MotoGP too early. I'm hoping the earliest we'll see him in GP is 2027 with the regulation changes, hopefully, fingers crossed. But yeah, we've still got 4 races for him to dominate as well. So I'm excited to see what he does now that he has the championship won, I think, more than anything, and to see if anyone else can sort of come to the front now or what's going to happen. I don't know. But yeah, biggest takeaway is what a personality. I'm so chuffed for him and I'm so excited already to see him in Moto2 next year, and further than that, see him in MotoGP, because I do think he is one of those special talents that is going to rise to the top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I made a post yesterday about his career so far, and it's insane. He signed with the Aspar team in 2017. In 2018, he was the 85 GP Spanish champion, which is a class that Pedro Acosta and all that have graduated from in the last few years. Then, in his second year in the European Talent Cup, he's a champion in 2020. Year after that, I know in the European Talent Cup, he was against riders like Ivan Otola and things like that. Even Otola was his teammate. 2021, Red Bull Rookies champion against both the Munozes, against Holgado, against Otola, Moreira, top riders. And again, Red Bull Rookies champion 2021. 2022, he was in the Junior World Championship, and came third overall. Then last year in the Moto3 World Championship, third overall as a rookie with 4 wins to his name. And then this year, Moto3 World Champion, which is outstanding. And it's crazy. I do remember him making an appearance at Misano a few years ago, replacing Sergio Garcia.
Yeah.
And he was on my radar. And to see him then and now is insane, because, and I saw Matt Dunn make this tweet as well, and I was quite intrigued by it. It was more about giving riders time to kind of develop and, get to where they were, because he didn't impress me at that Misano race, because he finished dead last and finished the race like 1 minute and 30 seconds to the leader. The next closest rider was 48 seconds, meaning he was a full 30 seconds back on the next fastest rider. And here he is, 2 years later, Moto3 World Champion, after destroying the field, becoming the most successful Moto3 rider ever on terms of wins, with 14 to his name now. That in itself is insane to see how fast he has progressed from that to now.
Yeah, it's wild, actually. And 2 years, it really isn't a long time either. It can take riders 4 or 5 years to find sort of consistent form where they're in even the top 10. So to go from being that far back just a few years ago as a wild card, not even a full-time rider, to then, showing the form that he has this season, just ridiculous. I think it'll translate into Moto2 and then MotoGP, similar to your Acostas and stuff, where it kind of doesn't matter what machinery they're on. They've just got that intuition almost to just make it work and be fast. So
yeah,
super exciting to see where he's going to go, for sure.
Yeah, I think with the Moto2 thing, I think obviously I've just explained about Ola's career so far, but that's up to now. I think we can't kind of do the thing that we've done before with riders where we've gone, they've absolutely done this amazing career so far, they're going to carry that on a Moto2. We have to kind of look at it and go, you've done great, but Moto2 is completely different. I think, you look back on, Izan Guevara was the 2019 European Talent Cup champion the year before Alonso, then won the Junior Moto3 World Championship and 2020 as a rookie in his first year, and then again stepped up to the Moto3 World Championship, won a race in his rookie year, then won the championship the year after. Now 2 years in Moto2, he started from 5th at the weekend, but again, it was a qualifying session that it ended early because of the rain. That's not discounting him, but he's barely breaking into the top 10 despite all that hype, despite his sensational career beforehand. And then you look at last year, for example, Sergio Garcia won Rookie of the Year, 15th in the championship. Thankfully, after a team change, it has translated, and he's second in the championship this year. But if you look at the rookies, Senna Agius is the best rookie, and I think he's 17th in the championship. Your Sasaki, nowhere to be seen. Dennis Foggia could be back in Moto3 next year. And he was top 3 in Moto3 twice in a row. So I think it's amazing what Alonso's done, and I don't ever want to put a dampener on that. And I really hope he steps into Moto2 and just excels, does a Pedro Acosta, because Pedro Acosta made that work and just hopped Moto2.
Yeah.
And it was like nah, he's been riding it his whole life. And I hope Alonso does the same because, well, he's insanely quick. He's only 18 years old. But I think as people on the sidelines, I think less pressure on him will do him better. And we can't, although we'd love to see him in MotoGP, and I think he's on that way if he can get it done in Moto2. There's also that chance that he could also fall flat on his face, as much as I don't want that to happen. And I don't want to sound like I'm being cynical or anything like that. But obviously we've seen it with Guevara and things like that. So it makes me a little bit worried, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're within every right to sort of feel worried now because obviously we're stepping into an unknown. We haven't seen him on a bike of that size, I think, for one thing. But yeah, even using the likes of Izan Guevara as an example, he definitely has improved since he has joined the Moto2 class. And if all the signs are pointing in the right direction, he should be making that move alongside Tony Arbolino into a newly announced Pramac Moto2 squad. So that, I think his road to MotoGP is possibly still there, and maybe he needs to get to MotoGP to show that talent again. Moto2 is a very, very difficult class to excel in. So the guys who are at the front and making it work, they are talented guys. So yeah, I think with David Alonso, I think people are going to put pressure on him no matter what because of what he's achieved. It's exactly the same as Pedro Acosta because when he won that championship in Moto3, as much as everyone said we can't put pressure on him, there was pressure on him. And he said it himself. He always says it. He holds himself to such a high standard, as all other riders do. Even though it was his rookie season in Moto2, he went out there and did some crazy things, obviously injured as well. He went out there and proved himself when he really didn't have to. Even in MotoGP this year as a rookie, he has gone out there and done things that no one could expect, to be honest. The fact that he's doing what he's doing is incredible. But of course there's pressure on him and people will be like, you've got to perform. That's why he's moving up into the factory KTM squad next year. He's sort of put himself out there. But yeah, I think David Alonso is definitely following that trajectory. I can't even say that word. Trajectory that Pedro Acosta was on. Like, there's something about him. There's something different about him, and I can't put my finger on it because even when you look at Izan Guevara, Pedro Acosta, two guys that have, a very similar path, have now gone completely different ways. So it's interesting because even when you look at Moto3 champions of the past before that, they sort of get to Moto2 and they've floundered a bit, which is interesting.
Whereas Masia.
Yeah, but years before that, you look at, say, Jorge Martin, Brad Binder, Alex Marquez, Jack Miller, all those guys have made it work. Well, I know Jack Miller didn't make it work in Moto2. He got the step right up.
Terrible
So that's a bad
Moto2
example,
season, Jack Miller.
Yeah, but there's a lot of riders who have been able to make it work and get into MotoGP, but I don't think we're seeing that as much recently, which is interesting. But I think David Alonso is going to make it to MotoGP no matter what. I really do think he has something special.
Yeah, you are right. I mean, if you look at the last 10 Moto2 champions, the 10th one being Danny Kent. So 2015 Danny Kent, BSB at the moment, didn't get to MotoGP. Moto3 champions. Sorry, did I say MotoGP?
Yeah, you said Moto2 and then said Danny Kent, and I was like, that can't be right.
So last 10 Moto3 riders, and then champions, and then their careers now and how well they did Moto2. Danny Kent, 2015, well, BSB now, really struggled to adapt to Moto2, didn't like the bike, full stop. 2016, Brad Binder, fine. 2017, Johan Mir, 10 wins in the season, fine. 2018, Jorge Martin, championship leader in MotoGP. 2019, Lorenzo Dalla Porta struggled in Moto2, now racing stock 600 in the European Championship. 2020, Albert Arenas, okay in Moto2.
Doing all right.
Not done a sensational job, but he's doing all right. 2021, Acosta. Well, Pedro Acosta, we know. 2022, Izan Guevara struggled in Moto2. 2023, Jaime Masia. Okay in Moto2, but he's not really set the world alight. So out of those, 4, obviously take David Alonso out of the occasion because he's the newest one. 4 of them have made it to MotoGP out of those 9. So the success rate is less than half will actually do well in Moto2. And of those, Guevara, Masia, Arenas, and Pat Della Porta and Kent, none have won a Moto2 race either. Not only didn't they not make it to MotoGP, they've not even won a Moto2 race. So the success in Moto3 doesn't automatically mean success in Moto2, but if you win 14 races in Moto3, there's a high chance you'll excel in Moto2. But Romano Fenati won 13 in Moto3.
But then, surely with Binder and Martin, etc., and Mir, they all went on to have successful careers in Moto2.
Yes. Yeah, they did, yeah. So there's 3 of them, and Poggio Costa, so 4. 4 of the 9 riders. 4 of the 9 riders done well in Moto2 and won races in it. The rest of them, 5 riders, haven't even won a race in Moto2. So like I said, Moto3 success doesn't automatically mean Moto2 success. And then of those, Pedro Costa's the only one who won a Moto2 championship as well. And then before that is Alex Marquez in 2014. And before that, Mark. And then my brain gets a bit fuzzy after that. But
well, I think it just goes to show like what a litmus test Moto2 is, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Because it is such a difficult class to find form in.
Yeah.
And even then, if you are winning races, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to graduate to MotoGP, because like there's kind of politics involved. Yeah, it's a tricky one, but I think at very least you need to start doing well at Moto2 to even be in with a shot of the MotoGP seat.
Yeah.
You know, without the sort of passport thing coming into play or whatever. But overall, it's that kind of, it's a very good barrier of entry to the Premier class, I would say.
And
I
am really hoping, like, I full belief Alonso will do well in Moto2. I don't want people to get it twisted that I think like he's terrible, I'm talking down on him or anything.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
But I am very intrigued to see how he does in Moto2, given that less than half of the last 9 champions haven't even won a Moto2 race.
I think there's those anomalies in Moto2 as well, though, because obviously you look at Fabio Quartararo and Fabio Di Giannantonio that got plucked out of. I mean, Fabio had one race win in Moto2.
Yeah,
Fabio Quartararo, sorry, both of them.
Both of them have one.
Had one.
Yeah, did you want
one
Jerez?
Yeah, I remember watching both of them win, at different stages, obviously, and you know they get plucked out and put into MotoGP, and I don't know how someone thought, yeah, let's get them into MotoGP, but look at a chance that you put on a rider that maybe isn't up at the front in Moto2. So there's that as well, which I think is a big thing. But yeah, David Alonso going into the team that he's going into, I have high hopes. The only thing is that it's him and Danny Holgado. They're bringing 2 rookies in, and I think that is really brave considering the team has been good this year, but they've had their struggles too. I mean, Jake Dixon was injured at the start, but then was struggling with the bike too. It wasn't just all injury based, and it took them a long time to sort of find their feet this season, as did it for a lot of riders this year with suspension changes and the new tires. So yeah, hopefully they know what they're doing, which I imagine they do down there. So that's going to be the most interesting, I think, the fact that it's 2 rookie riders lining up.
I mean,
I'd like them to prove me wrong though, because I'm excited to see Danny Holgado in that setting as well, of a Moto3 rider who's been at the front, had the potential to win the championship, but it maybe just hasn't quite worked for him. So that could bode quite well for Holgado too.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned about the Moto2 and like the team struggling this year. I think both of them are actually in a very good position because neither of them have a reference of the previous suspension supplier.
Yeah.
They just know
tires.
WP. Yeah. Therefore, they can just hop on that bike and it's like nothing. It's just a Moto2 bike to them. They've not gone, I've ridden this suspension last year and now it's different this year. It's just, this is what you got. Deal with it. And I think that puts him in a great position. I mean, WP now are pretty darn good. But the thing most interesting about this year, I think, is that until Agura won the other week, and now obviously stands solidly on the top of the championship, Kalex had come back into the fore. And Kalex were actually kind of, getting closer. And for one point, Kalex now lead the Moto2 constructor standings again after not leading for quite a while. And I mean, it is still top 3 in the championship, is still Bosco's. But, you look in the last few races, Kalex have won the last 3 races. Then it was Bosco Scuro, and then Kalex all the way back to Aldeguer winning in Germany. So since Germany, Agura has won, and that's it. It's just been Kalex again. So that's an interesting dynamic as well, with Bosco kind of outperforming the Kalexes.
Yeah. I do think that obviously with the fact that there's so many Kalexes on the grid, that of course they're going to come back at some stage. And for the fact that you've so many riders working out what is going wrong there, like obviously they were going to make a comeback. Yeah. Yeah, I just think that it's probably chance that the Bosco Scuro riders are top 3 in the championship, to be honest, because minus Ayagura, everyone else is making mistakes week in, week out. The fact that Sergio Garcia is still second in the championship is beyond me.
Mad.
Wild.
Well, yeah, I know just about, but like Alonso Lopez being 3rd makes no sense to me either, considering like where's he been? To be honest,
podium in Indonesia, and then before that was Austria.
Yeah, so
nuts.
He hasn't been setting the world alight, and neither is Sergio Garcia recently. And like Aaron Canet jumped up the standings massively there recently too because of his good performances. Tony Arbolino, we even thought could have been in with a shout of the championship had he kept his run of podiums up. So in Moto2, it's just, I think the standings are outside of Ayagura. I think it's all just chance at the minute. It's just I don't really know how it's all working, and that top sort of 9 could change very easily in this last 4 races. I think Ayagura is the only one that sort of is in a position to do anything with it.
Down to 9th. Dixon was up at like 5th or 6th. Now it's down to 9th again. And Vietti and Garcia are split by 28 points. Vietti is 8th in the championship. So if any rider wants to pick up a nice little paycheck at the end of this year, get a few podiums and get in the top 3 of the championship, and suddenly you're in the money. I think now it's Agura's to lose.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that a bit later on, because I want to do MotoGP, and then we'll go back down to Moto2 and 3. Or back over, shall we say, not down.
Sounds good.
Before that, though, it's an important weekend this weekend, because Toprak Razgatlioglu can win the World Superbike Championship at Estoril.
Oh, he's good
and
as well.
Either Kyle Ride, Tommy Bridewell, or Glenn Irwin can wrap up the BSB Championship for the finale in or at Brands Hatch. I can't wait for that.
Brands is going to be so good. I'm blocking out my Sunday.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm working on Saturday, or else I would do that too. But I'm so excited for Brands. I almost went.
Did you?
Bit of a logistical nightmare, unfortunately, so couldn't get it to work.
5 hours from me, never mind from you.
Yeah, and my dad doesn't fly, so it's a whole big ordeal to try and get to a British Superbike round.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it wasn't going to work out. So yeah, I'm just so excited for BSB. I'm like so excited, and there's other championships to be decided too, because the Superstock is still to be decided. There's
Supersport.
10 points between Davy Todd and Joe Talbot. That'll be a good one. Supersport as well. There's a couple names in the mix. So
wild.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really, really good weekend. Hopefully the weather holds up is the main thing. But I'm most excited about BSB because I think Top Rack should do the treble, to be honest. Seeing his results last time out in the condition that he was in, I can't see any reason why he won't just absolutely wipe the floor with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to the standings...
maybe this is linked, but I was going to ask, what's the... how does he have to finish and for other people to finish for him to wrap it up, sort of thing?
it's a 39-point gap at the moment. Toprak has to leave the track, so head to Jerez with a 62-point lead. So that's what, 13, 14, no, 23-point swing? Is that
Yeah.
23? Yeah, 23.
Easy.
So if he wins the first race and Bulliger is, say, third, that's already 11 points.
Yeah.
No, 9 points,
9.
sorry. And
Yeah.
then if Bulliger finishes off the podium in, say, the second main race and Toprak does a triple, it's very likely that Toprak will win the championship. But if Bulliger is, say, second in all 3 races, then it's not going to happen. I think if Bulliger can stand on the podium in all 3 races, it's not happening. But I believe that could mean, what's 4 and 4 minus 1, 2, 4?
What
No,
is 4 and 4?
I said 4, 1, 4. Sorry. So I was doing the maths to
4,
see
1,
if
4.
Bautista was still in the championship, and he is. Bautista can still mathematically win it, but it's highly unlikely at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then obviously in BSB at the Brands Hatch, the incredibly tight circuit that is, always kind of throws up an absolute barnstormer of a race in the last race of the year.
Yeah, it can
Barnstormer.
get iffy. Yep.
Yeah, I love Brands Hatch. Like the fact that it was half a point last year was nuts.
Nothing's going to come close to that, though.
No.
Well, it can't. It's as close as it can be, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Literally, unless they end on equal points and it comes down to wins, which
wins,
could
yeah.
be
Which would be
interesting.
Ride, I'm assuming. Who's won 4? Tommy's won. Tommy has won a race, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Why is it not
Surely.
showing? I can't see a 25 anywhere. But anywho, that's strange. But Ride leads the championship with 398 points.
That's because they don't get 25
They don't.
in a
They get.
season 18.
That's why, yeah. So Ride's actually won. I don't know how many races he's won, but Ride leads with 398, and Bridewell's second with 394. So it's a 4-point gap and 105 on the table. Glenn Irwin's still in it with 352 points. So
Yeah, he's
any
40
one of
odd
them
back.
3 can win. And with 105 on the table, 35 for a win, 30 for second.
Oh.
It's not going to be wrapped up on Saturday, that's for sure.
Yeah.
This is going to be
going to
good
come down
weekend.
to race 2 or race 3.
Oh,
Yeah.
it has to be. Unless someone makes a big mistake, it'll definitely be race 3.
Yeah, the other day I listened to the Off Track podcast again because I always try and say off track, but I listened to the one with Kyle Ride the other day, and yeah, amazing episode. He's done one with Ride, done one with Tommy. Definitely check them out if you can, because yeah, they were really good, and yeah, the interview with Ride was really interesting as well. About
if you take that jumper off, you wearing a Dave Neal like #1 supporter t-shirt.
No, but it is interesting the actual about how Ride kind of speaks about his racing and stuff like that, and then how Tommy, they're quite similar, the pair of them, and quite chill. Yeah, so interesting one if you want to listen to how Ride races. But yeah, on to the main kind of show of MotoGP.
Was
Now,
it?
10 points between Pecco and Martin. And yes, it was a very boring race.
I mean, it's good for the championship, right? For a spectator's point of view, it's good that that the gap is narrowing. I just don't want it to be the same old story. Do you know what I mean? Like Pecco just has that consistency compared to everybody else.
Well,
I still think
no
both
one
of them
made
have
a
a mistake in
mistake.
them. They
Well,
both
yeah.
have
true.
mistakes in them.
But
Oh yeah.
no one made a mistake this weekend. Minus Jorge Martin's bad qualifying, which didn't come back to bite him in the end. I think he did everything he could, to be honest, and Pecco obviously had a 37-point weekend, so this was one of the first weekends in a while where they both sort of walked away without making any major mistakes.
Yeah. It's interesting though, because I saw a few comments of people being like, they're so close in the standings, and they have been for the whole season, really. And we've never really seen them battle.
Not
Never?
this year. No.
Ah,
It's nuts. Yeah,
go
I
figure.
mean,
But like, what can we put it down to? Like, we keep saying, "Oh, the championship's hotting up and the points are swinging one way and the other," but like, can you actually think back to the last time the two of them had a battle on track? Because I was thinking
Not
about
they
this
ever have.
earlier. Well, I was thinking Sachsenring 2023, last
Hmm.
couple laps. Like, that was sort of last lap, last
Yeah.
corner.
Oh, yeah. True.
Yeah, but do you know why they don't battle on track? Because Martin and Pecco are quite similar in the fact that if they're out front, both of them are exceptionally good at managing the gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And pushing the other one into a mistake. You saw it in the main race. You're like, I think 3 times Martin took half a second out of Pecco, and it was like the gap was 1.5 seconds, and suddenly it's 0.6 into the last 2 laps. And you're like, what? Next lap, Pecco chucks in 0.8 on top of it again, and it's back up to
Yeah.
1.5 seconds, and then suddenly Martin closes it and it opens again because he's very good at managing the gap, and so is Martin. So neither of them actually battle on track, because whoever's leading the race just manages that gap, meaning that second place can't even get anywhere near them. And when they are trying to get near them, they crash, like we saw Pecco do at Mazzano. So they don't battle on track because they're never anywhere near each other to battle on track.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. And hopefully that's what the regulation changes are helping to fix as well.
Yeah.
Because, tire pressure this and like dirty air that is like it can really hinder the spectacle, so to speak, in terms of actually making moves. But
then the big thing is, of the best moves we've seen this season have been between Marc Marquez and Enea Bastianini. Like, they are
They are
actively
scrapping.
overtaking each other every other corner if they could.
Yeah.
Why are they able to really scrap it out? Like, I sort of wish it was those two fighting for the championship, in the sense that we've actually seen battles between the two of them.
Yeah, because they're going
And
for
it's,
third, aren't they?
well,
Yeah,
yeah, and it
yeah.
is still very close, and obviously that should come down to the wire if they keep going the way that they're going. But like, yeah, every week we're sort of watching either Pecco or Jorge Martin manage that gap, and then there'd be a bit of a scrap further down the field, whether it be third, fourth place for Marc Marquez and Enea Bastianini, or even further back than that. Like, other people are making passes, we're just not getting to see it, is the problem, or it's not for the championship. So it's sort of
Yeah.
like, this is a bit pointless.
It was a boring race, but I saw Swinksy made a tweet where she said like Marini and all that were battling out.
Yeah.
There's loads of battles throughout the field, but we never saw any of them because they're just focusing on the front runners. And it's important to focus on the front runners, but why can't they just have like a little screen in the bottom left showing the front runners battling or just following each other around, and then show the actual action on track that we've
It's
waited
probably because they don't
early
trust
for?
Pecco and Jorge, because they're so prone to making a mistake at the front. Like, there's
Yeah.
been quite a few times where we have been watching other riders on track, and you see it in the top of your screen that one of them's fallen off, and you're going, "Oh my
Yeah, with a little
god, what
onboard
is
camera.
happening?" So
Tell you why as well. The sponsors that have got their names on the bikes at the front
yeah,
have probably paid more money, just by
Yeah.
and large. So they'll just want the TV coverage. They would kick off essentially their investment being penalized because the race is boring at the front.
Yeah. I do.
Not to be boring about it, but like,
It does make
money
me wonder
talks.
though,
Yeah.
because you see reps are pulling out because obviously Honda at the back, so they're not getting their investment. But then riders that are actually genuinely running at the back every weekend, they're never on TV, and it's like, how are you paying millions to be on the side of a bike that never gets shown on TV?
Yeah, it's
You tell me. I don't know why they didn't.
Tax
just money
breaks,
laundering.
that's
Isn't
why.
it? Yeah, it is. It's tax deductible if your name's on the side of a
Well,
motorbike.
Yeah.
we did see a Repsol Honda this weekend, because Alex Marquez and Mir
Oh,
got
yeah.
involved in
The
quite the
admin on my
predicament.
page, he made a post of a photo of it. He posted a photo of it and said, "God, the towing in MotoGP is getting out of hand."
Yeah, seen that.
And I woke up and just laughed my head off at that one. But yeah, that was a bit of chaos, wasn't it?
Yeah, like,
But Alex kicked off about it. He accepted his penalty, but he was like, "Why have I been penalised for this? And a rider who took me and two other riders out last weekend didn't even get any sort of penalty for it.
Well, this is the problem, the inconsistent stewards. I mean, Jack Miller did completely turn into a bit of a bowling ball. But then the incident between Alex Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia a wee while back,
Yeah.
Zarco and Nakagami
Oh, yeah.
in the sprint race, Zarco got a penalty, and I've seen plenty of people speaking online sort of going, why did he get that?
He shouldn't have got penalised, yeah.
No.
There's too much of a grey area is the problem in all of this, and one person gets penalised for one thing, another person doesn't get penalised for another, so that when incidents happen, you're sort of going, oh, well, I don't think I should get penalised for that because so-and-so did a similar incident, caused a similar incident 2 weeks ago and they didn't get a penalty. But then all of a sudden the stewards have you in their office and you're getting a long lap penalty or whatever it ends up being.
Yeah.
It's just not good enough is the problem. And again, the fact that we even have to bring it up in a podcast episode week in, week out, that ended up being the most exciting thing that happened. Or the thing that we can actually sit and talk about the most.
Yeah.
It's not good enough.
It's a shame
it's
that
not good
it
enough.
comes back
There's
every
the
time.
quote.
But I think that Crafar next year, being an ex-rider as well, I mean, obviously Freddie Spencer's an ex-rider, don't get me wrong, but a more recent ex-rider, Spencer won his titles in 84, I think, whereas Crafar was racing in the early 2000s still.
Yeah.
So it's completely
I just
different.
think a new, not a face, but a new perspective. That's the word I'm looking for. They're going to come in fresh, hopefully, and change it up a bit and be a bit more clear and a bit more concise. And Simon Crafar has, in the past, shed a lot of clarity on some incidents that we've not really understood why stewards have gone the way that they have. So hopefully that continues, just that clarity and making it make a bit more sense. He's been a bit more involved in Twitter and stuff like that in the last couple of years, obviously in the job that he does, and he speaks to riders probably in a more open way than what Freddie Spencer does at the minute. So I'm thinking a new pair of eyes will help, hopefully, the situation. I don't want to put too much expectations on Crafar though, just clean it all up. It's going to be a very difficult job to
lay out rules
to do, because everyone's going to have an opinion no matter what. So there's obviously always going to be people that don't agree with how you're running it. I just hope it's better than what it is now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Something random. Anyway. To finish that point, I've just noticed that whilst you finish
carry on.
Aleix Espargaro, Fabio Di Gia, and Marco Bezzecchi are now sat on identical points.
In what positions?
In 9th, 10th, and 11th. And the interesting
I was going to say 8th, 9th, 10th. That's close.
The interesting thing, though, is the fact that at one point, Di Gia had double the points tally of Bezzecchi. I know he's now injured and his shoulder's kind of damaged and stuff like that. But yeah, Bezzecchi has made one hell of a comeback to be that far behind to really now be on it.
Some form.
Yeah. I think he's just been consistently better. At the start of the season, he wasn't even getting top 10s.
No, and then he got a podium. Well, no, he got 14th and then, 6th, 8th. But yeah, 3rd in Spain. But he has not been the best Bezzecchi from last year to this year. Night and day.
Disappointing.
Yeah. But the rider who was not disappointing, well, some might say disappointing at the weekend, Pedro Costa.
I don't think you can call that disappointing.
No, you can't.
I get why people would.
Yes. Because pole position, outstanding as a rookie. But then to crash out of both races, out of podium positions as well, is tough. I think the pressure in the sprint race got to him maybe a little bit. Leading a MotoGP race, you've got this win finally that everyone's been going on about all year long on your lap, and you chuck it down the road, and then the race 2, again, 2nd place, Bagnaia is kind of within touch, crashes again.
I had a feeling he was going to crash on Sunday after the crash on Saturday, to be honest. just hearing the way he spoke in Saturday press conferences of like, I expect the results sort of thing. I just think he knew himself that he was just going to push over the limit, to be honest. I'm not disappointed, but I think knowing the standard of Pedro Costa, I would be disappointed if he was to make that mistake again. I think we can come out of that weekend now and go, look, it's the first time he's been in that position. That's totally fair enough. A lot of people probably would have done the same thing, but then you do have to hold yourself to a standard. And whenever that time comes again for him to be in a position to be battling for wins in MotoGP, I'd like to hope that he's learned from that lesson and wouldn't make that mistake again. I think he's a better rider than that. I think he knows that himself. And yeah, if you want to win races and fight for a championship, you can't make those sorts of mistakes. So yeah, it's not disappointing now, but further down the line, if he's to make those mistakes again, I'd start questioning it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a classic case of, well, I say classic. It's what we see from the likes of Marc Marquez, where they're just they push so hard that they find that limit, and then eventually, it's just developing that intuition further of where that limit is.
Yeah.
Clearly, KTM made a step this weekend. Did they not like bring a new chassis or something?
I'm not sure.
I'm sure, like I saw that in an interview. Someone was like, KTM brought a new chassis, and then Pedro was like, "Oh, who told you that?" But I could be wrong.
Oh, right. Okay. Didn't see that.
I don't know.
Not saying it didn't happen, but
maybe that was a fever dream. If you haven't heard of it, then like chances are, like I
nah,
made this up.
because I've been a bit out of it the weekend. So
fair enough. Well, so was I. So,
true.
But I mean, Brad and Jack were like doing well.
Yeah.
And Pedro kind of made that step where obviously he got pole and was actually in podium positions rather than like 4th, 5th. So it's possible. Maybe I'm not making it up. I don't know. But yeah, I think he got a little bit more confidence with that new frame, if there is one. And it's just finding that limit. I would expect a few more similar mistakes like this towards the end of this year, considering the tracks that we're going to with like the low grip and everything. It's just like easy to make a mistake like that. But next year, with all this experience, he's got his first year under his belt, then yeah, I think he'll be a weapon.
4th next year.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you just got to look back at rookies in the past who have managed to make their way to the front. I think 2019 is probably the closest example of that. Of like, look, you go in and you are good and you can get to the front and you can get those pole positions, but then you sort of crumble a little bit under the pressure, which is understandable because you're running with these guys who are fighting for a championship and are so much more experienced than you.
For years and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you've looked up to and you know that Marc Marquez is behind you. We're like, what? How are you meant to deal with those sorts of emotions? So like you're making a move on Pecco Bagnaia, who's won the championship the last 2 years in a row. Like it's understandable that he's
There's pressure there, you know.
Yeah, he's got to the front. He's gone. Oh my gosh!
Race, you know,
yeah.
So it's fair, and we didn't judge other rookies in the past who have managed to get to the front. So what's the point in judging Pecco or Pedro now, who's in the exact same position?
No judgment.
I think his Moto2 rookie season was kind of similar in a way where it was riddled with some mistakes. Yeah, he got some wins, arguably a slightly easier field to get a win in for Acosta, but there were mistakes, but then the next year it was like that was kind of worked out. He ironed out those kinks. Yeah, exactly. Likely or hopefully seeing something similar. Just in the MotoGP class.
Thing is, like he's never ridden a MotoGP bike in Asia after all. And then last time out in Indonesia, he did it in very hot conditions. And he goes to Japan that might be slightly different with more moisture in the air, more moisture on the track on a bike that when he rolls out an FP1, he's never ridden that bike around Motegi before. So suddenly he's got to learn brand new braking markers. He's got to learn everything, and how fast to take each corner, what gear to go in. Yes, he's got data and stuff, but you still got to do it yourself. You can read as much data as you want, but unless you're going out and doing it, and to get pole position is exceptional. I think when I said about disappointing, he will be disappointed, Pedro. He'll be
Yes,
upset with himself because he didn't get it done. But overall, it's not a disappointing weekend to get pole and then crash out of first and then second. If you're a 20-year-old MotoGP rookie, that's have everybody since you were 16 telling you you're going to be the next best thing to do.
No. Well, look at the team's reaction too.
Yeah.
Like straight back in, hugs, pats on the head, sort of like
He's not
in that
expected
team.
to do these things.
No, I think they're all just chuffed that he's managed to do what he did to put it on pole, and obviously they'll all say that to him of like, we weren't expecting you to do that and
No.
to be able to go out and win the race, sort of thing. So being in the team that he's in, I'm quite glad, because obviously there aren't those expectations there, and it is a learning year, and you could see after both crashes that it was the exact same reaction, and he got sort of the support that he needs in that sort of situation, which is nice to see, which I wouldn't expect any less from a team run by Hervé Poncharal, to be honest. So.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, it does mean that he's slipped behind Brad Binder in the championship, but they're split by 2 points. Brad Binder in 5th place in the championship is now mathematically ineligible to win the championship. Ineligible. He can't win the championship. So that means this year's World Championship,
Ineligible?
Ineligible. What's the word?
It's not uneligible.
Uneligible. That's it.
Yeah.
Uneligible. Well, in simple terms, Brad Binder can't win the championship. That means that this year, as we kind of expected, the championship will be won by a rider on a Ducati, as confirmed by Claudio Domenicali the other day. So yeah, it's not a surprise, but yeah, Ducati. This is the whole thing, though. Ducati winning the championship 3 years in a row after struggling since Stoner left, really. Had some horrendous times, and now suddenly they're doing this, which tells you that, yes, Honda and Yamaha will be back at some point. It will happen.
How does that tell you that Honda and
that was
Yamaha
like,
will be
I mean,
back?
I
Because...
I get it, but like, yeah, I just didn't expect you to say that.
That's not where I thought that was going
because,
at all.
They always come back at the end of the day. You know, Ducati struggled, now they're back. Honda and Yamaha are making big steps forwards. I think, Zarco's been impressing recently. He got 11th place in Japan, 9th place the weekend before that as well. Marini's been looking strong. I don't think he scored any points again. No, he scored 2 points more in Japan. So there's more consistency from them. Nakagami with the 13th place as well. They are getting closer to the front. Yamaha are making strengths and gains. I mean, they need to actually learn how to fill the bike up fully. But apart from that,
I think Fabio Quartararo is going to lose his shit soon if he hasn't already.
Yeah.
If this keeps happening, the fact that Yamaha have ran out of fuel in 2 out of 3 races.
Who's doing their data? What's going on?
Yeah, it's nuts.
They got a leak.
Aleix ran out of fuel as well.
Pecco did at one point too.
Yeah, on the sprint race. In the sprint race, he ran out of fuel, didn't he? And they had to wheel his bike back.
Now, I get that you do the maths and how much fuel you need to put in the bike, but like to fluff up twice.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So close together. There's something not right there.
Yeah, it's a sneaky Honda employee just wearing a Yamaha jacket going in and just siphoning fuel out.
No, someone's literally got like an earring and just poked
a
wee hole.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so...
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just looked at the constructor standings and Ducati have won every race and every sprint race since the Kota. That's
bloody
insane.
Hell.
Is that when everyone thought Maverick was going to have a title charge this year?
Yeah, and then Aprilia won the sprint in Catalonia, and then since then, just first place.
Can we talk about Maverick? How he went from 3rd to 12th?
Yeah, how? And then crashed in the main race.
Yeah.
Is that? I think that's all we have to say. Really.
Oh, okay.
It's just Vinales, isn't it? Like, you can't start, can he?
It's just Vinales, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just Vinales things.
Can't scrap in the opening laps either.
That rhymed. Yeah, that can't scrap in the opening laps. Yeah.
No, but okay.
That's right. That literally rhymes.
Like, it's
Not
close.
very
Lance
well.
Trapp
Close
on the
enough.
opening lap. That rhymes.
Yeah,
That's literally a rhyme.
someone quote that as well.
Thanks. But
It's
yeah,
a rhyme. I just said it's not a very good one.
I'm not saying it is. I just said it rhymes.
Okay. Moving on.
Can you
Moving
tell how
on.
good the racing was that we're
Oh,
arguing over
yeah.
this?
Yeah, literally. Well, moving on to Moto2 though, because that was a bit of a backwards topsy. I can't get my words out today. Topsy turvy
Hey.
race. There you go.
I was just gonna add, you're not gonna talk about Mark Marquez's disappointment.
Oh yeah, he had his pole time taken away from him because there was a technological glitch where they had no signal.
Should have brought that up when we were talking about the stewards, because that was a
Yeah.
bit of a
But I think that was a
fluff up
signal
for them.
signal error, which is annoying because he could have had a chance to go out and actually set a decent time again, but yeah, they lost signal, and then Alex Marquez had no 5G signal on his phone either, so there was a technical issue. But somebody somewhere could have told
Another-
the team via radio that it wasn't working.
That's another Honda employee, if you ask me.
Yeah, probably.
I'd say that's
Well, the circuit is owned by
that's
Honda.
factory Ducati in that situation.
Mm.
Well, maybe a gentleman's agreement between them. Yeah.
That's a Davide Tardozzi written all over it.
Yeah.
The sensor doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Moto2, Manuel Gonzalez finally breaks a duck and wins his first ever Moto2 race.
Yes, Manu.
Breaks a duck?
Well, yeah, he's been blooming 5th place, I don't know how many times, hasn't he?
I've never heard that before in my life.
Have you not?
Have you
Breaks
not?
a duck.
No.
Gavin Emmett's a big fan of that one.
Yeah, he is, so fair.
You've
Breaks a
definitely
duck.
heard Gavin Emmett say that. He loves it.
Yeah, he
Is
does.
Canet gonna finally break his duck? Like, we've heard that so much this year.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Same
I
with
totally
Pecco.
zone out when he
No.
says that.
Come on.
I've never heard that before.
Have you not? I've had it on my captions loads as well.
I can't say I
Alright.
really get it. Like, why would one break a duck?
Yeah,
don't know, it's a
what do
golfing
ducks
term,
have to do with it?
Because
Oh.
you get a birdie,
Comments.
don't you, in golf?
So it's a golf reference.
I don't know, but it just says the golfer broke his duck in the majors by winning last year's US Open.
I
I
feels
don't know, to be
like
honest.
a duck is birdie.
The only one I've ever heard is water off of a duck's back.
That's different.
Yeah.
That
But
is a
that
very
obviously...
different-
Yeah, but I'm saying that's the only duck reference I know.
Well, I mean, there's also you could get your ducks in a row. That would be that's another duck reference if we'd like to keep going with
Is it
these.
Yeah.
ducks or is it chickens?
No, it's definitely
I don't
ducks.
know.
Is it ducks?
So Breakorn's duck
chickens.
comes from cricket.
Right.
Oh, so it's not
Um,
even...
Yeah, because its first meaning is to score one's first run of an inning, thus breaking the egg on the scoring sheet. So it's breaking the duck.
Oh, so it's actually breaking an egg. Not a
Yeah,
duck.
but that doesn't
Right.
sound as cool.
Well, I don't think either
Anyway.
sounds cool, but there we
Mm.
go.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's why
anyway.
people
It
tune
can only
in
be
for
so cool.
They give so many ducks about what we're saying right now,
I'm sure Manuel Gonzalez is going to be well pleased if he listens to this and we talk about his first win. And actually, we've only just mentioned it, and the rest of the time we've been talking about ducks.
Yeah.
Well, it was, yeah, true.
He
It
broke
could have
his
been
duck.
swimming
He got the win.
swimming with ducks though on the Motegi race because it was wet conditions, wasn't it? Or intermediate with a few riders risking it on slicks, risking it for chocolate biscuit, and
Risking it for a biscuit.
yeah, and Agura. I think Salach did it as well, and
Top six
Gonzalez,
did it.
of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go, thank you. With Javier Artigas, may I add, in 6th place on the forward. I was going to say forward Yamaha. Blimmin' heck.
I
On the
think
forward Moto2 bike.
everyone minus Ayagura was out of position, to be honest.
Maybe not Zonta. No. Maybe not Manu, sorry. Because he's
Oh, yeah.
been
Well,
podium
Manu
and stuff.
has had a few better
not P1.
performances this year. No,
Yeah.
to take that first win, absolutely incredible. It's been a long time coming for Manu. Obviously, last year in the flyaways, he had opportunities as well.
Yeah, he
So
did.
these conditions clearly suit him, and he made that tower gamble. He sort of said himself, I wasn't in the championship fight, so
Yeah.
what was I literally what is there to lose by taking that gamble? Agura, on the other hand, taking that tyre gamble.
That's risky, given the championship
That
lead.
was
Incredible, but Japanese rider at his home circuit. I wonder if he just knew himself after the conditions that they'd had this weekend. He sort of just knew, look, the rain's not getting any heavier. If it stops, then you know yourself, it's going to start drying up with the temperatures that it is. So I don't know if it was really genius or what, because yes, 5 other people did it too who didn't have anything to lose. But yeah, I don't know why more people didn't gamble. Like, why did Jake Dixon not take that gamble? As someone who
Yeah.
is used to the wet weather, why not?
Confidence, maybe.
Tony
Confidence is
Arbolino,
everything.
a rider who's really good in the wet, didn't go
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
Maybe the team said no, but then Salach did, didn't he? And
yeah, but
would-
anyway, like I want to finish my point quickly. Sorry. Salach obviously being on the podium, he is good enough to be there, but hasn't had a good season at all. Alcoba, Zonta, and Artigas haven't been anywhere. Unfortunate for the likes of Zonta, because obviously, we're good friends with him. Really, really nice rider. Unfortunate that he's not up there more often, but like, all things considered, pretty incredible that they did what they did and that they took that gamble. But yeah, leading on to why did more people not do it, sort of thing.
I guess risk, injury, reward.
Yeah. I think, like, when you put it that way, though, Lauren, about how Agura might have had some kind of extra track knowledge, like, yeah, just copy the home rider.
Yeah,
it sounds so simple.
But this is the exact
Jorge
thing that we
Martin should have
said.
done that, Mazzano.
Yeah. So this is why I'm like, why did more people not? Like, Sergio Garcia didn't do it again, teammate.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Garcia is an individual case because his confidence is maybe shot to bits at the moment because he can't seem to do much at the moment. But yeah, it was interesting that Salach was on the podium because he's very good in the wet. He got his first podium, I think, at Thailand in the wet as well. And he also, he absolutely steamrolled everybody on Friday, was destroying everybody, I think, lap record pace. So to see him maybe go, you know what, I was good Friday, take a risk on a slick. Yeah, it was interesting. And Zonta as well, who was second place in qualifying. And I think he was 15th at one point in the race and then came back to 5th.
Thank goodness the race got restarted, though, because in the first race start, he did get beat up.
He got absolutely murked. Yeah. Someone punted him wide, I think.
Yeah, like completely got beat up, which is fair because, I mean, starting in a position that you're not used to starting in, like from having quite a few riders in front of you to having no one in front of you, must be a scary thought, to be honest.
Terrifying.
And then the second race start, I sort of thought, oh God, it's happened again. But he just needed to wait for the tyres to come into play. And then obviously 100%. He was on to a winner. So
yeah, I do think, like you said, more riders should have made that risk because it paid off. But I guess hindsight's 2020 because in the same way, they could have gone back out and it could have absolutely tipped it down. And then suddenly they start going around on slick tyres on a wet track.
But it's like the same thing even when you look at like Austria 2021 when Brad Binder decided not to change his tyres.
Yeah, but he only
like
had
the guys in second and third. But the guys in second and third were on wets. So just goes to show like that. How were they to know, sort of thing? Like it's just one of those wild cases.
Binder had one more lap in that race and he'd have been like 12th.
Literally.
And only did it for like 4 laps, whereas I think this is 12 laps?
12 laps.
So you had to be, I think, raking the correct choice at the start, obviously, is key. But I think the slick was a bigger risk, but I think it paid off for the 6 riders, because they've got against the grain, which I think I said on the podcast recently about going against the grain with Martin and going, sometimes you go against the grain and it pays off, like Binder. And again, with Manu and all that, they went against the grain and it paid off. But it could have easily done a Jorge Martin thing and then looked like silly idiots. So I guess, it's just one of those situations, really.
Follow what the championship leader is doing, I think, is the advice. Because
Martin
Jorge
went down pit lane and he was leading the championship.
Or something.
Aha, he's got you there.
Oh, oops. Follow, well, in
The
that
home
case,
rider.
follow the guy. Yeah. Yeah, follow the home rider. That's
Yeah.
maybe what I mean. Iger is the championship leader and the home rider, so
Whoa.
Yeah.
Definitely follow him then.
yeah.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yep.
That's not just some Pecco Bagnaia conspiracy that I think he should be leading the championship or anything. That's just
No, of
You
course
heard it
not.
here. We're going to clip
follow
that.
the home rider.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and
Very
then
good.
Moto3, I think we've already really discussed. I think Alonso's absolute ability to win a race, no matter where it is incredible. Like, he was like 5th for most of that race, and suddenly when it counted, bang, first place, pulling away. 7th.
Is
There you
where
go.
the lowest he was,
Jeez.
yeah. And then you could see him pull the pin.
How does he do it
However many
every
laps
time?
to go. Colin Bayer tried to follow him, which was quite interesting to watch actually, because the commentators pointed it out. As obviously the week before, Bayer had tried to go out to the front and win it that way with dominance, and it didn't pay off for him. And he sat behind Alonso for quite a lot of that race in Japan, and he couldn't make it work. So it's interesting. It just goes to show that what Alonso is doing isn't just some fluke. Like, his racecraft is just
That's
second
it.
to none.
Yeah, and that's why, going back to the Moto2 point from earlier, I think he can do quite well in Moto2 given that racecraft. It just depends on if he can adapt to the bike and the class, because that Moto2 bike is one of the most horrendous bikes to ride on the planet. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's got the intuition and the maturity to, I think, rise to the top.
He's got
Mm.
something
Make
that
the
you can't
difference.
teach. Like, you can't teach that.
No, you can't. But yeah, he's just incredible, to be honest. But yeah, it was a very good Moto2 race. I quite enjoyed it.
Moto3?
Would have loved to see Moto3. Sorry, a minute. Would have loved to see Forosato maybe a bit further up on the podium, maybe, in his
Well,
home
same.
race.
I predicted
But
that.
yeah, it's true. And then Adrian Fernandez to get second podium on the bounce as well. Massive confidence booster. I think
He looks like a
that
new
will tell him.
rider.
He does something. Someone's shot him in the arm, and he seems to just be absolutely flying now. Like, giving him a shot in the arm of something. God,
Are you insinuating that he's doping?
maybe. Wouldn't surprise me. You know what he's like, snorting lines behind the back of hospitality and all that. He doesn't do that.
Oh my
I just
goodness.
want to say.
Someone shot him in the arm and given him a line. Oh my goodness.
Sounds
What
great.
is happening?
He's had a confidence boost.
Yes. He's had a shot of
Clearly.
confidence in his arm. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is on fire at the moment, and not on fire. And
on Bayer. Nice. Okay.
yeah, but I'm going to steal that next year, and Bayer's doing well. But he's on fire now. Anyway. But yeah,
I can't wait
It's
for
time
next
to go.
season.
Yeah, I think it's time to end this.
Yeah, we've got to do predictions first. And
Oh,
some
great.
rumours for you. So, rumours, quickly. Scott Ogden could be on a KTM next year at the CIP squad. Just depends on some other factors in there. Who will take his place at MLAV because there's no British riders? Very unlikely a British rider will be on it. Rumoured riders are Riccardo Rossi, Xabi Zaratusza. Who else? Cormac Buchanan.
I'll do it.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Oh yeah, that'd be
were
good,
you volunteering yourself there?
that was me. Like,
okay.
I'll do it. You know.
Nice.
Oh,
I wasn't just.
I thought you were going to ask a question.
I've been
Or
shot.
was it? Can I do?
The shot in the arm.
Yeah, I've been shot in the arm. So.
Yeah, Vicente Perez is also another one, and the
Oh,
big
yeah.
one is Dennis Foggia.
To MLAV?
Yeah,
Come on.
Get out of town.
yeah.
No
That's the rumor.
way.
And Leopard don't want him
Fair.
for whatever reason.
Okay.
So Leopard are likely to sign Stefano Neppa.
Right.
Why?
¿Por qué?
I don't know. He's old. He's got lots of money.
Ah, okay.
Giving
Fair.
Tatsuki Suzuki vibes.
Yeah, but Masia was a bit older, to be fair, as well.
Masia went back to Leopard.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
True.
So,
and Nepo used to ride for Leopard as well.
oh, did it? Well, there you go. I think Leopard are now in a sticky situation because obviously they thought that Picaras would be riding for them next year.
Yeah,
so
he's gone to
you
MSI.
sort of thought you had your rider lineup for 2 years, and now that's gone
Leopard,
to the dogs. So.
They are known for betting on older riders, though. I mean, Marcos Ramirez was a bit of a veteran at that time. Mazia, obviously, as well. Foggia been there for quite a while. Danny Kent, Efren Vasquez, Hirokiono, all three of them were a bit older at the time. So, yeah, it could work. We'll have to see, really. Shall I do these predictions?
Cameron will do it.
Yeah, well, I am an older rider.
Cameron will do it.
It's not even just for MLab, it's just, any Moto3 opportunity.
Yeah.
I can't pay to ride. I'm also too
you
old
can
for
pay
the class.
me to ride.
Yeah.
Nice. Right.
Got a lot going
predictions.
Yeah, go on then.
Right. So heading into this round, I'm of course leading with 766 points.
Take that smugness out of that. I'm of course leading.
Well, I changed the rules for you all, and you still can't keep up. So
I wanted to do the showdown. I wanted to do the showdown.
We'll do it next year.
You kept saying I changed the rule for you. None of us agreed on this until it was already too late.
Yeah, because I literally gave you the power and was like, look, do it. You come up with it, and we'll run it this year. And neither of you did. So next year
Selective
we'll do
memory.
BSB's point scoring of 18
I'm telling
points.
You now. How long have I been on this podcast? 2 years? Go back to the start. I've been begging for BSB Showdown.
All right,
since the
next
beginning.
year we'll do it. You come up with a points thing for me, and we'll do it.
Okay.
I'm just here for the vibes. So.
Yeah,
because you're in second. That's why.
I could just vibe away.
Is he?
And Declan led me to believe that I was back in second last week, and then shot me down at the last minute.
Yeah.
And I got really excited and was like, oh, brilliant. Did no one else score any points? And then I was like, oh no, Cameron scored X amount of points.
Destroyed you.
He is actually ahead of you. And I was like, oh.
Sorry.
Not happy about it. Anyway, sorry. Carry on.
So I am, of course, leading with 766. Cameron with 594 in second. And in third is Lauren with 575.
That's close.
Heading into Japan, Ortola stood on pole. None of us got that one. And then the podium Moto3 was Alonso, Via, and Fernandez. Me and Lauren got Alonso correct in first, and Cameron got Alonso and Via in the 1-2.
See, this is what you do. Start with the one who scores the most points.
No. So after Moto3, I lead with 791, Cameron with 639, and Lauren with 600. Moto2 was an absolute washout, literally, because we scored 0 points across the board, because it was Gonzalez, Agura, Salach, Dixon, Pole, and nowhere near. In MotoGP, I was the only one who scored points.
I knew I should have went Pecco Bagnaia.
Yeah,
I said it on last week's pod. I should have switched, and I didn't.
I got pressured into a sprint prediction.
Yes.
I went Martin.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. There at the time. Yeah, well, because I went Martin for the sprint, but then Pecco in the main race. I went Pecco, Martin, Bastianini, who nearly got a podium by 0.36 seconds. Or 0.036, sorry, when Marquez touched the green on the last lap. And because he was 0.5 seconds ahead of Anea, he didn't cop a penalty. But if it was within that 0.5, Anea would have been promoted to third. And then, Cameron went Bastianini, Bagnaia, Martin, and Laura went Martin, Marquez, Bastianini.
If Pecco had crashed, I was on the money.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
But he could have.
Could have, would have.
And if Mark Marquez
had a wheel, she would have been a bike.
And if Mark Marquez would have had pole, he would have won the sprint. Which Jake I also predicted.
Rode a MotoGP bike, he could have won as well, but he doesn't, and it didn't happen. So
Ifs and buts.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So I gained 45 points from that. I now lead with 836. Cameron second with 639, and then Lauren with 600. So yeah,
Cool.
get ready to crown me as
That's so
champion
exciting.
again for the third year in a row.
Listen,
how long
can
have
do
you
this.
been mathematically like ahead of us? Is there any chance that we can win at this
Oh,
stage?
yeah. You get 100 points if you get all three in one class correct, right? 125 for MotoGP. Therefore, I have, where is it? I have 836. Cameron is 199 back from me. 197 behind me, sorry. So if Cameron gets Moto3 and Moto2 bang on the money next time out and I score 0 points, suddenly he's leading. And if it's a MotoGP as well, he's flying.
Yeah. But not you,
Same
Lauren.
for you, Lauren.
Notice how he didn't say if you do that.
Well, Lauren could be doing a little bit better, but she'd have to get MotoGP as well.
I'm always so close is the problem.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
It's annoying, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Anyway, folks.
Right, let's finish this before I have a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
Again.
Same.
Right. Anyway, thank you for listening again to this absolute train wreck of a podcast. We'll be back.
Broken Duck podcast.
Broken
Yeah,
Duck
that's it.
podcast. Shot
We'll
in
be
the arm.
back next time for more shots in the arms, broken ducks, eggs and things. I don't really know. Oh yeah, because the cricket breaking the egg. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And
Glad you clarified.
hopefully
again.
a Glen Irwin BSB championship. Wait, what?
You've not just
Oh.
said that out loud.
Oh my
Why?
goodness. Oh dear.
Don't believe you.
Have I destroyed it?
No, well, I want it to happen, but now you've said it.
I know. Well, both of us said at the start of the year it would be Glen Irwin. I quote you said, what did you say? He'll be BSB champion this year, and why will it be Glen Irwin? Is what
Did
you
I
said.
say that?
You said
There you go.
exactly those words.
Quoted.
Well, I stand by it, and obviously he's
Yeah.
still mathematically in it.
Hmm.
And I mean, Bridewell's made mistakes in recent races, so
I mean, they could
you
crash
never
into
know.
each other, and then suddenly Glen's right in it. So,
It's not over until it's over. That's all I'm
That's what
saying.
lady sings.
True. Very good.
And then
Like,
top right quite mid as
subscribe,
well. Might win.
comments,
All that
let us
malarkey.
know your predictions, etc.
Next week's podcast will be full of much more exciting race talk than what this week's was.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
just put it
Phillip
that way.
Island is going to be nuts. Oh,
Yeah, but
next
that's 2 weeks
MotoGP.
away.
Sorry, yeah, sorry.
Well, next week will be good with Toprak and Glen Irwin
Glen Irwin.
winning. And then the week after that's Phillip Island. So, you know,
What a
it's
time
going
to
to
be
be
alive.
mad.
Honestly.
Can't-
Yeah.
MotoGP just needs to go to Phillip Island every race. I'd be absolutely buzzing for that.
It's the Sunflower Trophy in 2 weeks too, the same weekend as Phillip Island. And
Is it?
yeah, it's
The
gonna be
Mallory
good
Park?
racing.
Incredible.
Absolutely not. Bishop's Court, but you're close.
Oh, is it?
You're
I
not
thought it
close
was
at
at
all,
Mallory.
actually. But
They do
no.
a thing at Mallory, don't they?
You tell
many,
me.
Many things. Oh boy.
Yo.
What?
So many things at Mallory. Just you wait.
Okay. I
Yeah.
didn't even know that Sunflower was in Northern Ireland. I thought it was just in England somewhere.
Well,
Classic.
Mallory Park
English.
isn't in
No,
England
isn't
either.
Mallory Park's in England.
Is
Is
it?
it not?
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. This
Mallory
is embarrassing. We should
It's
have
an
ended this podcast
Anglesey.
when we said we were
Oh,
gonna.
Anglesey. I'm thinking of
No, it's not. No, yeah, wait. Mallory Park's
No,
not in
Angles-
Anglesey, sorry.
what are you even googling right now?
Right, it's in Mallory. Mallory Park is near Leicester. It's in England. Near
Right,
Birmingham.
I was thinking of whatever one's in
Bournemouth.
Dublin.
I don't
down
know what's in
south.
the
That's
one that
fine.
you just gone about Cookstown. Don't know.
Bishop's Court.
Yeah, that one. So I didn't even realise
good.
that Sunflower was in Northern Ireland. Is what I'm trying to say.
It is, yes.
Spare and national landscape. Let's have a look at this. This looks pretty.
What
Anyway,
is happening?
What's Ferns?
I'm on
Gorgeous
Google
part of
Maps.
Northern Ireland.
Looks lovely. I just went Google Maps and some massive blooming statues in my face. It's terrifying.
It could be Bishop's Court could hold a BSB. It just needs its facilities updated, but they just won't do it.
Sad.
Yeah. Petition to get that started.
They're going to blooming Netherlands instead because they'd rather go there than go to Northern Ireland.
I mean, fair. Absolutely fair. I'd do the same thing.
Me too. Right, and on that bombshell, thank you for listening. We're back next week. Camera rolling his eyes. We're back next
Have you
week
missed
for another
us?
pod. Yeah, have you missed us, Cameron?
Yeah. Oh, you
Good.
bet. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad.
Mm.
Right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.